Hello, this is Susan Nash. We will talk about how to collaboratively build outcome-based training. So in this section, we're going to take a look at how to identify training documents needed, how to collaborate on the types of outcomes required to show competency, and also using outcomes in Canvas to create a standardized training unit with measurable outcomes. So let's learn how to use the outcomes feature in Canvas. So we can start by setting up a new course, and then once we do that, we can start creating a master document that lists the assessment areas and associated documents. So to do that, we'll use Google Drive. So let's just jump right in. Course. So we're already here. So let's go and start by developing a document. Here we have outcomes, but before we do our outcomes, we want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So let's go to collaborations. And notice that we've started a new course, so we have to make sure that we go through all of the boilerplate, and we're going to be collaborating using Google Docs, although we could use Office 365. So let's just type the document name, and this will be outcomes requirements, and this will say one-stop shopping for our outcomes. And we don't have any groups yet, so we won't, we just have myself in here. So we're starting pretty lean and mean. So let's start collaborating. So notice once we do that, we end up in the good old familiar Google Docs. And you'll see your Google email in the corner, which means that you have access to all the different Google apps. So what we'll do is here is where we list what we need. So then keep in mind that we automatically share. And these are our outcomes requirements. That's the name of the file. And we can, if we want to, download it as a Word document or something else to a local file. But we don't really need to do that. Okay, so once we do that, let's just go back into the course so we can do that. But let's first go take a look at the second thing we'll need to do. So we'll need to open files. So let's just go back into the course, and we need to see where we are. So we have to go back into so let's mask that again, navigation bar. Okay, so now here we are, and we will need to go into files. So once we go into files, we will create a new file. And we can create a folder. So we'll say outcomes folder. And this is where we'll put all of the things that we have. So let's go ahead and click that, and then we can open it, and we can upload a document. So we have all kinds of documents that we can upload. So let's just say we have a quick start guide. So that's just for writing. So we'll do that, and then what we do is we go to outcomes. So what we've done is we've created a document, we put it in a folder. Now we need to create outcomes. Now let's say outcome number 1 would be identify types courses. Say course typing. And here is learning outcome. So we put the learning outcome here, and then we add criterion. So then we can actually create the assessment here, but we can also import and embed an image or text or things that we've already created. So this is where we can go back to our file, pull out that handy document we've created, and we can just plug it in, save some time. And then here is where you can put down the criteria about exceeds expectations, meets expectations, etc. So once you have all of these different kinds of things, now a series of outcomes. So now we have the identify types of courses. We can have another set of outcomes. So what you've created now collaboratively are your documents that you'll need to populate your outcome. So I've gone through this fairly quickly, but it's easy to grasp, and it's extremely useful. So let's just go back and review a bit. after we've set the pass criterion for every chunk, we can just save the outcomes. So we've got our first outcomes. So in other words, we can use a combination of collaborative files that we've created in Google Docs and outcomes. We can use the content that we've created in those files and documents to populate criterion outcomes. So we can use this when we need to identify training content. And keep in mind, you have to set the criterion and then also bring together the files and outcomes, not just one or the other. So you have to plan well so that the outcomes really correlate to the desired learning objective. So, for example, if you're identifying types of horses, you probably want to include graphics and maybe some different types of activities or quizzes.